anything that my parents were engaged in, we were part of the conversation. We were part of the engagement. Those interactions really fueled and gave me information from sources that weren't just a book. It was as much about the fact that we were tackling these obstacles together as a family and incorporating the education into real life. I know my dad firmly believed that one of the flaws of a traditional public school setting is that it divorces education from real life. And it's a life different than what everybody will face once they graduate high school. And one of the beauties of homeschooling is that you get real life alongside that education running parallel tracks. They aren't separate things. They become intertwined and just part of everyday life.
That's what strikes me as I've learned from you is just that marriage between family and life, and that is the education, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what would you think if we were to talk to your dad, some of those things that the traditional education divorces itself from real life? I mean, the one thing that I think is social. We all think, that you're best socialized in a public school setting, but that is absolutely nothing like real life socialization. So I know you live very rurally and you guys didn't have these big giant, you run right now currently a huge homeschool co-op, but that is absolutely nothing what it looked like for you as a kid, right?
Right.
And so, but ultimately I would think that your socialization as a kid probably looked very much more like real life socialization than the kids sitting their seats in the public school. So talk a little bit about the socialization thing based on kind of your upbringing.
Well, for sure, the socialization was not, again, a formal part of education. It never really is, but it's what happens along the way. So my parents, wherever they went, we went. And so the conversations that they were engaged in with the community, whether it was as part of a community, as a city nonprofit organization in support of the community, whether it was those meetings, whether it was, helping my dad interface with people as we built a local medical clinic, or at church on a Sunday as a family, we did everything together. Going to the doctor's office for my sister, we were in all those appointments. So we got to engage with doctors and surgeons and a variety of people, even on kind of what would have otherwise been a tough thing. My parents started a 4-H group so that we could participate in 4-H, which took us, out of town into countywide competitions and settings, to state competitions and settings. We would go to we used to go to a Christian workers conference that was hosted in Spokane. And again, anything that my parents were engaged in, we were part of the conversation. We were part of the engagement, even from being itty bitty, tiny little kiddos. I always remember just always being present in their lives on an ongoing basis. And that those interactions really fueled and gave me information from sources that weren't just a book.
Yeah. And I see that so much in you as an adult, because I've seen you in so many settings and so many things thrown at you, like, hey, can you go talk to this legislator? Hey, can you go do this interview with this news team? And it's like you have a level of comfort in those settings. And I look back and I'm like, you know what? There are no kids sitting in the seats in the 4 walls that have, as a child, like you were, like you said, doctors, community members, you were with your parents interacting. That's real socialization. And that has done you a great good into your adult life, where most kids, they graduate, they turn 18, and they don't have a clue how to talk to an adult or in a business setting or in, honestly, any other setting other than raising their hand and waiting to be called on. And that's their socialization and being able to, interact with their peers 15 minutes at select intervals during the day. And so I love it. And I see it in your adulthood. It took me years to be comfortable in those settings because I was a traditional public school kid, and my socialization was just very much limited to those 4 walls.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.